lads, the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting Ungrim Ironfist, the Slayer King of Karak, Kadrin. Yes, here he is. I've loved this model, I've been wanting to paint it for a while, and well, we finally got a moment, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So, he has been primed in Wraithbone, and, well, we're going to take some... I'm going to start with his mohawk, actually. I'm going to go from the top down, basically. And the colour we're going to be using first is Gryph-Hound Orange. And we're going to be applying this over top of his mohawk. We're not going to be applying this over top of the beard or the ponytail. Or braid. What would you call it? I don't know. Probably not a ponytail. Probably wouldn't be a fan of being called a ponytail. But there we go. So we're going to apply this over the top, like so. Just over the top of the mohawk, because it is brighter than the rest of his hair. You'll notice if you look at the box art, it is a little bit darker. It's got a bit more brown in it. So, given as I've said that, you might be able to guess which colour is coming next. So with that Gryph-Hound Orange all applied to the mohawk, what we're then going to do is take some Gore-Grunta Fur. And we're going to apply this over top of the beard and the hair. So with all that Gore-Grunta Fur applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh. I'm going to use this over the top of all of the skin. Now you might be thinking, well, you're going to use Fyreslayer Flesh here. Well, he's not really got that kind of heavily tanned skin that Fyreslayer Flesh will give us over the top of Wraithbone. So we're going to use Guilliman Flesh here because it's just that little bit paler. And we can always come down from Guilliman Flesh if we need to. But we'd have to brighten him back up if we use Fyreslayer Flesh. So with all that Guilliman Flesh applied, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. We're going to use this over the top of the hair and beard. Not over the skin. It's already kind of at the perfect shade that we want it to be at. But the hair and the beard need to have a bit of a theme between them. That's why we give them the same shading. So with that all done, we're now going to take some Black Legion. And we're going to apply this over top of a couple of different fiddly details. So we've got areas like the handle of the axe and of the one on his belt. We've got the trim of the red area as well, and the red area is this bit down here. We've got the belt and any leathers. We've got this bit of trim here on the mail down here, and that's it. So with all that Black Legion applied, we're then going to take the previously mentioned Flesh Tearers Red. Well, we didn't mention Flesh Tearers Red, but we talked about the red bit. Well, the red bit is what we're going to do next, and we're going to take Flesh Tearers Red to do that. So with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Dark Angel's Green to 1 part Militarum Green mix. I'm going to apply this over top of the kind of next layer down of cloth. Like so. And so with that green all applied, we're then going to take some Skeleton Horde. I'm going to apply this over top of the horns of the helmet and a little bit of binding on the axe on his belt at the back. And we're also going to apply this over. Just make sure we got it all over this one horn. Like so. Looks like it to me. Yep. And the little bit of binding is just here. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And, well, we're going to apply this over all of our silver details, which is going to include things like weapon blades and armor panels and stuff like that. Don't worry if you get this over the top of all of the remaining kind of details, because we can go in and add our next metallic, which will be some gold. Over the top. If anything, this will act as a lovely base coat for that. If you're unsure as where all the silver is, check out the box art. And so with all that Iron Warriors applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of our remaining details. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades. And, well, the first of these is going to be some Nuln Oil. And we're going to apply this over top of all the silver, the red, and the black. And so with all that Nuln Oil applied, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. And you use this to shade all the gold. So with that all done, Ungrim is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. He's looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave him there. Of course not. We're going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now the first of these is going to be a layer. I'm going to be using some thinned down Kislev Flesh over the top of his skin. And we're going to thin it down just a little bit more than we would normally, sort of 3 or 4 parts water to 1 part Kislev Flesh. Just so it's a bit kind of thinner. I'm going to apply this over top of the flesh, just avoiding any of the recesses where we've got a lovely little bit of Guilliman Flesh shading. And this will just smooth out any blotchiness that you might have, given as it's resin. But it also just makes that colour nice and impactful. So with that Kislev Flesh all applied, we're then going to add further definition to our muscles by taking some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. And we're going to use this just to add some little highlights to the sharpest points in all of that skin. So with that all done, skin is looking pretty darn cool. So what we're going to do now is move on to something pretty easy. And we're going to take some thinned down Straken Green. I'm going to use this to highlight the green. I'm just going to turn it upside down for this bit. With that Straken Green all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight the black. And then next up, we're going to take some thinned down Deathclaw Brown. I'm going to use this to add some little highlights to the beard. And with that Deathclaw Brown all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Ungor Flesh. I'm going to use this to add some little spot highlights to the beard. So for example, we're just going to like pick out the occasional strand of hair here and there. Like that sort of thing. However, what we're also going to do with the Ungor Flesh, we're going to use this just to pick out the tips of the mohawk. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ironbreaker. I'm going to use this to highlight our silver details. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. And we're going to use this as a layer and a highlight. So we're going to be using this to relayer any of our kind of flat, wide open gold details. But we will also use this to highlight the slightly smaller ones, such as this trim around here on the horn and stuff like that. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Canoptek Alloy. I'm going to use this to highlight all that gold. So with all that Canoptek Alloy applied, we're then going to take some Talassar Blue. I'm going to use this to do two things. One is to paint in all the gems, but the other is to do the tattoos. And he has these little swirls here on this arm. So we're just going to do one of those for now. And it comes up the bicep very carefully. Like this. And then it has a little swirl on it at the end. And that sort of thing. And we also have the gems, as mentioned. We're going to apply this Talassar Blue all over, just like that. And so with his base now complete, we actually went for a more kind of Warhipster traditional thing here of Stirland Mud, Dry Brush with Tyrant Skull, and some mixed green tiny tufts from Gamer's Grass. Ungrim Ironfist is now finished. He joins my super team of dwarf characters that I've slowly been building up over the years. So that's fun, although he is on a square base. And the rest of them are on circle bases. That's not a criticism of square base. I really love this model. Loved it from the moment I saw it. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.